Jay Short says, "Run the Jewels has run its course." Mm, mm, mm. Speaking of which, I mean, when's the last Killer Mike album? Like, does Killer Mike even put out like solo efforts anymore, or is it just Run the Jewels projects? Because I think was rap music the last Killer Mike album.
Was it?
I think it might have been, and that came out the same year Life is Good and Good Kid, Mad City came out.
Is it really? Oh,
Yeah.
you're right. You're right. I mean, but you
We
know
need a.
what?
Do we need a Killer Mike album? I mean, I'm gonna ask you, like, because I feel like Killer Mike's had an interesting career in the sense where I think that first off, I want to say this. I think that he caught Outkast at a bad time. He caught the Dungeon Family at a bad time. He caught them at a time where they were experimenting, excuse me, and on some funked out shit, which was working for them. But I feel like if he would have been around the Dungeon Family in 97, 98, that would have worked out a lot better for him, right?
Right.
So I think we got that going on. And then people kind of caught on to Killer Mike a little late, really, maybe like 10 years into his career. And then after rap music and the Run the Jewels project, he catapulted to just basically being a household name. And I think, is he mostly known for being a Run the Jewels member in the mainstream, would you say?
Yes. Yes.
So he does need, do you think he needs a solo effort, or is he just a, Run the Jewels, half a Run the Jewels or something?
How old is Killer Mike now? That's what I'm saying. This is like you want him to embark on his solo career again at what age?
Right,
Probably
right.
not. I'm just speaking to you like I'm speaking to you like a grown man. Like this is more that get off my lawn conversation. It's like you want this 40-something-year-old dude to start his solo career again when he's been on this successful crossover melting pot run
Without having to make any solo efforts.
for a decade now.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably
So we're
not.
probably not gonna get a solo Killer Mike album
This is
ever.
another one of those business acumen things again, Mike, where it's like, well, not why would he do that? Because also, too, I want you to understand this. Well, he got to go start paying other guys again, too,
Yeah,
to put an album together.
yeah.
Yes,
It's
he run the jewels. He has a nice little situation worked out with LP financially, too, Mike. That's what I was trying to talk about with the Nas thing and with the Griselda thing. Independent artists, people who have to spend their money, Cormega, AZ. Like, how about this? Don't you think that an independent artist like Cormega or AZ would like to put out 4 projects in 26 months,
right.
like Nas just did? That's that money talking.
Yeah. And
Those
freedom.
guys got plenty of ammo in the hammer. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because even with Killer Mike and LP, I think LP produced the whole rap music album. And that was, like I said, that was the year Good Kid, Mad City, and that just celebrated 10 years. So, in the 10-year period, they put together 4 albums together because there's 3 Run the Jewels albums and you got rap music, right?
There's four
Nas
Run
is
the
about
Jewels
to do
albums, isn't
4 in 26 months. Nas and Hit Boy.
it? Right.
To put that in perspective.
Just
36
that's
Chambers with the
context.
super chat says Killer Mike has said in songs that he won't do a solo album anymore or only will with beats by LP, which is just Run the Jewels anyway.
See?
Yeah.
It's another Run the Jewels album. That's what I'm saying. He's in a comfortable little space.
Well, it makes sense. But let's just say hypothetically though, he said, you know what? We'll do a solo album. That's gonna be an adjustment because the past 10 years he's been rhyming over nothing but, LP beats for the most part, other than features. Like you said, now you got to go out and get production, go through that process. Listen, don't nobody want to go through all that.
That's what I'm saying. Or you can call the dude up he been working with for the past decade and be like, yo, send me a 20 pack so we can start working on the next joint. Oh, yeah.
Right, exactly. Jay
Because
Short
it, because, it,
says,
because it benefits the producer that you're in this venture with, too. Right.
Jay Short says, LP is the Pete Rock of the 2000s. We don't need bars. I think he did his thing on cheat codes, but I feel you.
He has his moments.
Yeah, yeah.
But there are. How about this? There aren't enough solo Killer Mike records on these Run the Jewels projects, and that's the problem with these Run the Jewels projects. If you really want to know the truth.
Now I'm not gonna lie to you. That Run the Jewels 3, right after the Rashad Brooks thing went down in Atlanta or whatever.
In the snow and all that.
Yeah, like Killer Mike was going for it.
No, he was rapping his ass off.
Yeah.
But were there any solo records on there?
No.
Yeah. Like, think about it. Like,
yeah.
I want you to look at it like this. Oh, Havoc may do a verse if he has to. You know what I'm saying? But when Prodigy's on fire, Prodigy's going to rock.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's part of their group dynamic, or was part of their group dynamic, was the fact that Havoc knew, like, look, I'm in the group. We started off as a duo, but at any point I could fall back, just make a track, and he can handle the whole thing. You know, I wish, you know what, man, we saw that a few times in Outkast or whatever when Big Boy would do West Savannah, but we never saw that with 3000, you know, and we've seen that in pretty much every duo. Like we knew that Pimp C could go out there and hold down a song by himself. 8Ball did Mr. Big. You know what I mean? Yeah. You had Phife doing Butter. You had, you know, Q-Tip doing Bonita. It's like we never got that with Cass. The closest we got to that was West Savannah. Well, I don't want to say the closest. The only time we got that was West Savannah. Because even when, you know, even when there were songs where Dre wasn't on them, where they seemed like more Big Boy-centric songs like Slump or Snapping and Trapping on Stankonia, Big Boy still had other people on them. You know what I mean? And I feel like for Big Boy's solo career, at least early on, it felt like he was very dependent on the possibility of another person coming in rhyming. You know what I mean? And I think that that's one of the drawbacks for him specifically on Speakerbox. Because I feel like if he would have held that album down alone, for the most part, the separation wouldn't be so Big Boy, Andre 3000. You know what I mean?
Well, I think that was a valuable lesson learned for him.
Because he handled it like it was a group effort still.
Right. But valuable lesson learned.
Yeah, and Dre handled it like, no, it's just me. You can get on a song. You know, we got Nora Jones on something. We'll throw Khalees on something. But, yeah, I just think the Speakerbox, it was Big Boy having fun. And Killer Mike was a big part of it, too. Yeah, he should have just held down more records on his own. Because he could do it. And he sounds great by himself. I mean, the way you move is a hit.
Speakerbox is too long.
And what else about Speakerbox? Because I could critique Speakerbox as well.
It's too long, and this is what I mean. While the other artist is finding himself as an artist, Big Boy should have been spending the time to find himself as an artist too. Because I think, like, you remember Bowtie?
Yeah.
There should have been more of that. He was perfectly fine on that record by himself with Sleepy on that track. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like that was a whole thing. And I feel like he kind of like stayed in that vein afterwards, which was good. But he could have crafted that album a little differently, in my opinion.
I think it was, you hit the nail on the head, and something I've always said about Speakerbox is I don't think that he took the adequate amount of time to make sure it was perfected. I think it felt like he was kind of just trying to get it done because people were asking for it. I remember when, I think he had Big Boy, I'm sorry, not he had Big Boy. Big Boy brought Killer Mike on the 106 in Park because they were promoting Killer Mike's album Monster. And, you know, of course, they was asking about the Outkast stuff. And I'll never forget this. Big Boy said, I'm done with my part. We just waiting on Dre. And so, yeah. It
was also that, too. I believe there was also another conversation that got had where it was like he was literally waiting for Dre to come finish like 4, 5, or 6 songs, though, Mike.
Oh, yeah, that's a thing, too.
Right, like some of those songs that we're hearing, he's looking at like we're putting together an Outkast record together after Stankonia, like our next level. That's what I mean. Some of that stuff was supposed to be like the next futuristic Outkast stuff, not Big Boy's solo stuff, and the album sounds a little bit like that.
You're right. Because
It
I
sounds
think
like Dre
Ghetto
left
Music.
him hanging on some records.
I think Ghetto Music's one of those examples.
There
Possibly
we go.
Church.
Even
Because
though I
you're
like the
right.
record.
Because you're right. It's like there's some futuristic stuff on there, and it's some, like you said, the bow tie, the way you move stuff on there, and then it's some, okay, I'm just gonna do whatever's popping right now stuff on there too. Because the song with Lil Jon and you know what I'm saying, like my guy from PA, it just didn't mesh, and it didn't really flow like a normal,
Yeah.
like
Like
the
even the joint,
standard of an
with Jay and
Outkast
Killer
album.
Mike. Like the joint with Jay and Killer Mike.
I actually love that record though, but
You
it
could keep
doesn't
it though, Mike.
fit.
Where does it fit? How does
It
that
doesn't.
fit on Big Boy's first real solo project? You feel what I'm saying?
You're right.
It's a reach, and it's not a good one.
From the production standpoint, I thought that was one of the strongest beats on there though.
Beat wise, on some rap shit, yeah. But how about this? That's one of those records that you drop a la Royal Flush, but never put on your album.
Because Big Boy killed it too. I'll say this,
No,
and
they
I think
killed
Killer Mike killed it too. But I think Big
It
Boy
doesn't fit.
should have left Killer Mike off of this one, and it should have just been him and Jay if they were gonna do that. You know what I mean?
It just doesn't fit. Like go. Oh, how about this? This is what I mean. Is like you got bow tie, ghetto music, and the way you move on there, and then something like this. It's like, what album are you making?
You're right. Eric Terrell with the super chat says, on the show Ozark on Netflix, one episode Illmatic played the whole show because the main character played it in the headphones with the Killer Mike scene. Yeah, Killer Mike did start that episode. That episode was great. Let's see.
That was great.
Darren Harris with the super chat says, just out of curiosity, where do y'all have The Realness 2 this year? It's trending top 5 for me, but I haven't heard you guys say much about it other than the Nas feature. Albums being underrated. What do you think about The Realness 2?
I really enjoyed it. You want to know what I was actually thinking as that was coming in? Maybe Wednesday we should make Wednesday like an Underground Kings kind of review show
I think we should
Where
do
we-
that.
where we like, because I know we talked about the Cormega, but we didn't really rate it. So let's kind of like maybe Wednesday we can talk Willie the Kid and rate his album, but also go back and give some of these albums an appropriate rating from some lesser known artists who are really dope. You know what I mean? That are representing independency and the underground the right way. Like what do you think about going and circling back around on Currency and Alchemist's Continuance?
I think we should do that. I think
Right,
it's that time of year we should do that.
How about going back and checking out maybe I know Billy Woods, we circled around. I know
Yep.
you weren't a big fan of it. Maybe we need to circle back around on that. The Czarface, Mike,
Yeah,
the Paul Wall and Terminology.
you're right. Yeah, we need to circle back on these efforts because
We
next.
never reviewed Earl Sweatshirt's project Sick.
Okay. Yeah.
You feel me?
That
So
should
we
be
can-
Wednesday's assignment. And,
Yeah.
and any other ones you guys think that we're missing out on, let us know. What I was going to say is I think next Friday, 21 Savage and Drake are dropping their effort, which was supposed to drop this week. And I feel like something else is dropping. So, yeah, that'd be good to kind of pick those up on Wednesday so that they don't just get left further and
Let's,
further behind.
Yeah, let's review Willie the Kid, and then let's like cover like 4 other projects, and like let's see how they sound to us today. Because we've rated all of these albums. I think we really need to rate the Earl Sweatshirt Sick because we didn't rate that at all,
Hmm.
and so we can rate that, and then we can pick maybe 3 other albums. You know what I mean? For the Underground Kings.
Okay.
Like we
Michael.
gave your old Droog a 4.1. Maybe we should go listen again.
Okay, I think we should. Michael Williams with the super chat says, what are your predictions for KD3 in terms of Sonics? Do you think it's going to be more in the vein of KD2 or Magic? I prefer the darker, gritty sound. I think it's going to be a mixture of both. That's my prediction. I think that they see the response from Magic, from the core fans, but they understand from a commercial standpoint what KD2 was able to bring them sonically. Eric Terrell says Unhappy was fire. Big Boy did his thing. I think Unhappy is one of the stronger songs on that album. I think Unhappy and Knowing, for me personally.
Unhappy was great.
Yeah, and I wanted more of Knowing.
See, that's a Big Boy solo album song. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Unhappy, that's the guy that's really the author of Miss Jackson, Mike.
Right.
Right.
What's the name of the song with CeeLo and Cujo? Reset.
Mm-hmm.
I see. I'm cool with that album closing like that. You know what I'm saying? Like if a Big Boy album closes with Reset, those are features that you could do. What did you think about Boom on the Tune album song with Luda and all of them?
I enjoyed it. It was good.
Yeah.
It fit. It goes. Yeah, it goes.
Jay Short says, nah, for real. I like Killer Mike and Run the Jewels. It just makes an awkward listen when the gap between the MCs is so wide. I think Killer Mike is a borderline Hall of Famer. It is hard, man, when the gap is wide in those terms. And like you said, what kind of helps in those situations is if you do get solo songs on those albums.
Yeah, see, like, because here's the thing that, and you brought this up. You're like, what's Killer? We say this about Andre, okay? Where's his classic 3-verse and a hook song by himself?
Yeah, because Adidas got Big Boy on it.
Correct, and that's probably still his best record to this day.
Radio-wise, I would say single, yeah. My favorite Killer Mike song is Niggas in the South, I think. I think that's the name of it. Niggas in the South Stack Cheese, man. It was on a mixtape, but he had 2 verses on there, but I understand what you're saying. Like,
well, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, so record. Let's stack that up against, let's see,
right.
Lauryn Hill's Lost Ones, Raekwon on Incarcerated Scarfaces, Prodigy on Quiet Storm.
You're right.
Where's the moment that we know? It's like, no, this guy's like.
I'm gonna say this, and I'm not trying to be funny. I think sometimes when we have a Southern MC,
Common Sense on I Used to Love Her.
Yeah, I think sometimes when we have a Southern MC who could put words together, well, we overrate them.
Oh,
it's like you're good for a Southern rapper. You know what I mean?
T.I. on What You Know.
Yeah.
Scarface, Never Seen a Man Die. Like, let's keep it Southern. You feel what I'm saying? It's just like, we can keep it to the Southern MCs, you know?
Yeah. I think is it fair to say he's maybe his era of a Bun B, maybe? As far as like solo tip, because we know what he does when he jumps on a record.
Yeah, but I mean, Bun B made a really, Trill is dope, man.
Yeah. Bun B got a 5 mic album, The Source.
I mean, it's better than anything Killer Mike's done as a solo artist.
Facts. Jason with the super chat says.
And I'm sorry, Bun's just a better MC than Killer Mike to me, and his guest appearances are better, and his solo catalog is better. So
I think he is too.
Yeah,
I agree with that. Jason says, great verses last Monday. Well played by both. Rooting for Coop with Ray. Which is better? 98 Posse cut. Which is the better 98 Posse cut? Done Started Something, or Reservoir Dogs. I love Done Started Something. Niggas done started something.
I'm actually taking Reservoir Dogs.
Not mad at that, but I think I like the tone of Niggas Done Started Something. I love how DMX ended it. I love the surprise at the moment of having Mace on a record that we didn't think Mace would be on. You know what I'm saying?
now, here's what I will give you about Niggas Done Started Something. I mean, Freddie Gibbs just quoted Chic's Start Off on Space Rabbit.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So the record has obviously stayed. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, the way he set it off, man.